Twilight Princess is big. It was the biggest game I'd ever played as a kid. The rolling hills of Orden Village, the sheer scale of Hyrule Castle. Gosh, just stepping into Hyrule Field blew my mind. With 1 or 2 loading zones to cheat the limits of the GameCube, this field is still impressive today. Even the bits that aren't genuinely connected go to great lengths to give the facade of an open world. Lake Hylia and its bridge are visible from town, Arbiter's Ground could be seen from the lake, and everywhere you go, Ganon's barrier looms over Hyrule, reminding you of your mission. If you think this gameplay looks a bit smoother than usual, that's because I'm playing on Dusk, a PC port by Twilight Realm. Thank you so much again to the team for early access. Links in the description. Dusk even lets you import saves from your console's memory card, so I'm exploring my own childhood save at 120 frames per second. Wow, I missed a couple Poes growing up. People discuss the scale of Twilight Princess a lot online, but there's one piece of content in this game I never see talked about. Its depth. Sure, there are a few hardy caves in this game, and they're pretty fun to explore, but the most overlooked content in Twilight Princess has to be its grottos. Grottos have been a staple since the first Zelda on NES. There's a hole in the ground, an old man makes you pay to fix his door, it's a tale as old as time. Link to the Past is when you started falling into them, and Ocarina of Time standardized the system for the 3rd dimension. There are random holes all throughout Hyrule. Some are hidden under rocks, some are exposed to open air, and some require the Rumble Pack you purchase separately. Literally paywalling content years before high-speed internet. Majora's Mask and Wind Waker continued this system. Some grottos are exposed to the open air, many are under boulders, and some are invisible. They all share the same iconic visual of this ominous hole in the ground. How deep does it go? It's impossible to tell. Let me ask you though, what do Twilight Princess's grottos look like? Can you envision them in your mind's eye? Well, your mind must be a liar then, because all of Twilight Princess's grottos are invisible. They completely did away with exposed grottos, and even grottos under hidden objects. They're all secrets now, and that's probably why the majority of players never even discovered this feature. The first grotto in Ocarina of Time could be found before even entering the first dungeon. Twilight Princess's grottos, on the other hand, become available halfway through the game, and they're never really communicated to you. Instead of a cartoon decal on the ground indicating a steep drop, Twilight Princess's grottos are all dig spots for Wolf Link. That means they only appear in Sense mode, which has a render distance so small I'm afraid I might discover Herobrine. The devs do use some tricks to hopefully get you to notice them. A few grotto entrances are right below Pose, which require Sense mode to damage. Other entrances are literally the only thing in a respective area, like the top of this plateau or the end of this spinner rail. Most of them are honestly pretty obscure though. They put a random circle of grass or rocks down and call it a day. Because of this, I think it's safe to say the grottos are probably the most overlooked content in Twilight Princess by a long shot. Most of you haven't seen them, and I'd wager only a few of you have seen all of them. With that in mind, let's look at all 21 grottos and see if it was worth the dev time. And maybe we'll even check out a few bonus holes while we're at it. The first grotto is under Orden Ranch. You can technically do this as soon as the Elden Twilight when Midna warps you back to the Faron region, but almost every grotto requires Wolf Link to enter and Human Link to complete, meaning all of this content is locked behind Master Sword in my eyes. Here there are a few rats, some pots, and a rare chew jelly. That's nice. Lighting these torches nabs you a purple rupee, which isn't insulting or anything, but I'm not exactly telling mom to get the camera either. Our second grotto is in South Hyrule Field, and it's way off the path. This one I only learned about a couple of months ago. Why would anyone come here? Why would they come here after Lake Bed? There's some simple enemies to fight and 3 little baby chests containing a red rupee, and a yellow rupee. So 50 again. Broken up into little girl snacks throughout the day instead of a proper meal. Number 3 is also in South Hyrule Field. Oh, look, a little ring. This grotto has nothing. Just fish. I mean, they went to the trouble, but I'm not sure why. I guess it's a nice desktop background. This would kill as a virtual aquarium at a boutique or something. The next grotto is in a ring of flowers by Kakariko Gorge, and it has literally nothing. I'm serious, they just didn't put anything in here. Killing all the keys nets you maybe 20 rupees of loose change? They can't all be winners. Grotto number 5 is pretty interesting though. It's in Elden Field, and it contains a metric ton of bomb skits, an enemy you see once or twice in Fair and Field and never again. Generally speaking, grottos are a nice place to appreciate the underutilized content in Twilight Princess. Rare enemies and objects were plopped into these to fill the space. It's what makes them so interesting to me. Overlooked content stuffed within even more overlooked content. The reward is 50 rupees, but after the last one, I'm counting my blessings. Our 6th grotto is by the Bridge of Eldin, and this is a weird one. Skullfish and living water bombs, 2 enemy types native to Lakebed Temple. The chest is present from the start, and it contains 50 rupees, but the real treasure is this box. What even is this? It's like 4 normal boxes glued together. It's huge! Seriously, where else do you even see this box? Huh? I kinda thought it would break. This looks pretty durable. What? Okay, hold the phone. This box can serve as a floating platform over water, and the skullfish are programmed to nibble on it? Why? For what purpose? There's a bespoke animation and everything. Does the box break? This is insane. I've been playing this game for 20 years and I genuinely discovered this just now. Why does this random box have such a rich set of mechanics? It has to be from a cut puzzle, right? Imagine hopping between these while skullfish nibble away like a puzzle timer. Seriously, ROM hackers, get on that. This custom dungeon is writing itself. Alright, this is the best grotto. I learned something today. Our next stop is by Hidden Village, and this is one of the better broadcasted grottos. You take a spinner rail to a nook with nothing but this grass. Good conveyance, devs. There are 3 Stalfos inside, and 2 chests with bombs to kill them. The reward is a heart piece. There we go! A genuinely good grotto. They can't all be losers. Some of them can be, though. And this next grotto in Lanayru Field fits the bill nicely. It's just goo. There's some rare chew jelly somewhere, but I didn't see it in time. And it's absorbed by the first chew jelly it sees. I guess if I needed the health, this would be better than the empty Keys grotto, but not by much. By the exit of Upper Zora River, you can find our next grotto, and this one's pretty neat. There are a bunch of Skulltulas separated by wooden barriers. You're meant to run through each level and light its torch, ignoring the spiders if you can with running sword slashes. The chest is 50 rupees as always, but I had fun. 3.5 stars. Lanayru Field is loaded with these. 20 feet from the Skulltula Grotto is this baby right here. It's got 2 pose, if you're a weirdo who likes to 100% games or something. No chest though. I guess the sense of completion is the reward. Our next grotto is right outside Castletown, and this one's in a pretty neat spot. You normally come up here for a golden bug, and this circle of rocks is pretty suspicious. The grotto's full of Helmosaurs, which are kind of tricky in such a small space. The reward is... wait. Mom, get the camera! You've probably noticed some similarities at this point, and that's because there were only 5 actual grotto maps in the game's files. Each grotto has 4 layers that determines the objects and lighting, and the water grotto has a 5th, because that box is the best. You might call that lazy, but I really didn't notice until I read the wiki. It's a pretty efficient use of assets. Over the bridge, under the goo, and right up here, we have... our next grotto. Gadzooks! The 50 rupee chest is outside the grotto? The grotto itself is pretty neat, I guess. There's mood lighting with torches and elemental bubbles. Wolflink makes short work of them, though this one always flies weirdly close to the ceiling. The chest is 100 rupees. You're spoiling me, game. Done with the field grottos for now, our next stop is in Lake Hylia. A fun fact about this particular grotto is that on console, the grass can unload due to the sheer size of the map. Lake Hylia is about 2 bytes of data from crashing at all times, and things like this grass are the first to go in a memory crisis. If you can find the grotto, it once again showcases some extremely underutilized enemies. The Toad Poly appear in this grotto and 1 room in Goron Mines, only on your second time through it with the bow. In fact, the Zelda Dungeon wiki erroneously says that room is their only appearance in the game, if that lends any credit to my Grottos are overlooked thesis. Hopefully they update that page and begin the long journey to rebuild trust with the Toad Poly fandom. The chest gives 100 rupees, which I will donate to Toad Poly research. Grotto 14 is one of those you probably saw the Poe deals, and it's got shell blades underwater. Pretty fun to fight. They die in a single quick spin. Once again, 100 rupees. You can make a living doing this. As soon as you arrive in Gerudo Desert, you can turn around and find Grotto 15. This is a prime contender for the first grotto a casual might find due to the Poe's audio cue and a placement immediately above a dig spot. Not to mention, this is where you come right after getting the Master Sword. The grotto has a truly unreasonable amount of Skulltulas, but the ball and chain can kill them in a single throw. Wow, 100 rupees. It's losing the magic. I should have stayed happy because Grotto 16 is just goo. Immediately before the first Boblin camp, there's another circle of skulls. The wiki says there's a rare chew jelly in here. I couldn't find it, and now I have trust issues. No chest. They can't all be winners. If you claw shot up to this tree, there's another Poe floating above a circle of skulls. They definitely wanted you to understand this mechanic, but you can only discover it if it's nighttime. The grotto itself has 2 more Poes and a chest with 100 rupees. Now that's a good haul. South of Hyrule Castle Town, there's a large plateau. The only thing up here is a grotto, and it's got a bunch of Tektites you have to awkwardly fight on a body of water. If only I had one of those boxes. Stonks! Grotto number 19 is in Sacred Grove beneath this big boulder. You can technically get this immediately after the Master Sword, but who really backtracked into Lost Woods after that? Bunch of Deku Babas. I like to finish this one with the ball and chain. It's got a good 1-2 punch. Boom! Heart piece. These are good for something. If you choose to venture back down Snow Peak Mountain, you can find this grotto underneath a random tree. It's got keys and a big boulder. You'll never believe it, but the boulder's hiding goo. No chest. Our final and most difficult grotto by far is a bit further down the mountain. There's an ice wall hiding 3 freezers, and good luck defeating them without getting hit. With how difficult this one is, I'm amazed it doesn't have a heart piece or something, but maybe they decided the mountain was too far out of the way. And that's all 21 standard grottos, but there's one more area I'd like to cover today. You can only get in or out of this special room by digging into a hole, so I'm calling it an honorary grotto. In Hyrule Castle, you're presented with 2 directions at the start. Everyone and their grandmother goes left, has a final showdown with King Boblin, and enters the castle. However, going right leads to a much more difficult small key. You have to fight your way through a makeshift Boblin camp and find this Gale Boomerang puzzle. Once you solve it, you're met with not the key. Well, that's strange. But there are more leaves you can blow around over here, and using Wolflink's senses reveals a dig spot. When you come up the other side, you're in a totally isolated section of the castle, the graveyard. This area is permanently rainy, and it has a really gloomy vibe that I kinda dig. You gotta light these torches, but the rain keeps stopping you. After fighting some Stalfos and generally flailing around for a while, you come across this grave with instructions. Using sense mode one more time reveals multiple dead soldiers pointing to a hole in the ground. This is something I never found until adulthood, and it's so damn cool. The ghost soldiers reveal a switch under a rock, which allows you to disable the rain, access the owl statues, move them back to the start, and jump across them to access the small key. Is all of that faster than King Boblin? Absolutely not. But it's the last key you need to access the treasure room right beside the boss door. This has the most chests of any room in the game, and nothing you really need for 100% completion. I guess that kind of sums up the video, huh? Really interesting, thoughtful, but ultimately forgettable content in Twilight Princess. Even the 100% speedrun skips Graveyard, Treasure Room, and 17 of the 21 grottos. Does that mean this overlooked content isn't worth it though? Should they have put the dev resources to something else entirely? Absolutely not. Even as a veteran player, I had a lot of fun exploring these areas for this video. The big box genuinely made my night. I showed that clip to like 20 people before sitting down to write the script. Even if the majority of these grottos lack essential content, their very existence lends to the scale of Twilight Princess's world. And the fact that 4 of them do have content required for 100% completion means you're probably gonna explore them all. These grottos are completely skippable for casual players, but completionists won't just find a few more items to check off their list. They'll find a sense of adventure. And that's the best reward of all, in my opinion. The childlike wonder of discovery. It's what Zelda was founded on 40 years ago. Did you find all of these grottos in your own playthrough? Maybe you're a certified spelunker and this video didn't teach you a thing. I seriously doubt that because nobody I asked knew about this box. What's with the box? Why is it so cool? What are these mechanics for? If you made it this far, you'll probably enjoy the exclusive content over on my Patreon. It's the best way to support me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon with more Zelda oddities.